Let me know when you're ready.
Thanks, Daddy.
I have your blessings.
If making it easy to be an illegal alien isn't enough,
government is another way to say better than you.
In fact, you know how fast a 5-cent hooker goes down.
no sane country would do that.
Cruz and Kasich are in it for a participation trophy.
Oh, what you represent to them is freedom.
Hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash.
Just remember, all hate mail comes to me.
The Southside Mutt Show.
Cheerleader. I don't have the boots for it.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Southside Mutt Show, hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, and we are digging up the dirt on the news. The Southside Mutt Show is every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember to join the live chat. Just go to shrmedia.com. How are you doing today, Crash? We're just going to jump right in. A little bit of breaking news. Jeff Sessions has been confirmed as our next Attorney General. All the theatrics is done and over with. He is the Attorney General.
Yeah, well, that was actually quicker than I thought it would be. I figured they would drag it on longer than
that.
Oh,
they already dragged it on over 2 weeks. I mean, it's...
Oh, I was anticipating them going out to, like, end of the month at least.
Yeah, the problem is the Republicans kind of got tired with a lot of the bullshit and just started cutting through with the rules. So last night, one of the tricks that the Democrats were doing, they did a quasi filibuster, and Elizabeth Warren was on the Senate floor, and she got basically told to sit down and be quiet. She wasn't allowed to speak anymore. She was censured. She was, through quoting Ted Kennedy, bashing. You there? She was bashing Jeff Sessions. Crash, call back. Call back.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So, underneath the rules, she was disciplined. And she was made to sit down and not speak for the rest of the night. Holy shit on a shingle. Or is it crap on a cracker? Here we go. All right. Let's see if that's better.
Any better?
Yeah. You were kind of breaking up a little bit on my end. So, as I was saying, holy crap on a cracker. They punished her because she broke the rules. And you would think that...
But,
all right, go ahead.
No, but you have to remember now, when it comes to Democrats and with liberals, they make the rules. And whatever they say, that is now the new rule. I mean, think about it. Peaceful protests now include assaulting civilians, destruction of private property, assaulting police officers, stopping all forms of free speech that don't agree with you.
That's what I was just going to point out. Silencing Milo is good thing. Silencing Warren, bad thing.
Well, it's not even just him, though. It's anybody that doesn't agree with their version of a narrative. It's their version. They've lost sight of the fact that there are three sides to the truth. Your side, my side, and the actual truth.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean someone's actually lying.
There is no debate. There is no discussion. It is, this is what I say, and you will either believe it and bow down, or you are completely wrong. I will destroy you on social media, and that'll be the end of your life. they fail to realize is that, yeah, half the country buys into that shit. Half the country pays attention to the Kardashians. The other half of the country has been saying, fuck this shit all these years.
Pretty much.
They've been just staying quiet about stuff. Finally, you kick a sleeping dog enough, it's going to wake up, haven't even bitten anything yet. Most we've done is growl. That's about it.
It's they're throwing a hissy fit and using
words I don't understand the definition of.
Yeah, over they lost the election.
Well, and now they're trying to change the rules because they lost the election.
Well, wait. Let's back it up. They're complaining that the rules got changed by their party to push through their nominations, and now it's the Republicans' chance to do the exact same thing, and they're upset about it.
Yeah, they want the rules to go back to the way the rules originally were before the Democrats changed the rules. The rules to ensure that the Democrat never believing that they may not be the majority at some point. I mean, they had it. They truly believed they would always hold the majority. And I still think this should be a hell of a wake-up call to them. First time in 100 years, Republicans are holding all three branches. In 100 years, or just about 100 years, that has not happened. We'll hold one, we'll hold two. We've never held all three. Yet the Democrats, every 10, 15 years, they'll hold all three for a period of time. They've never not had the full power of one branch in 2 lifetimes almost. Okay? That's what's got them running scared, because they don't know how to play by the actual rules. They don't know how to deal with this. It's like this spoiled rich kid that got silver spoon-fed everything their entire lives, and then all of a sudden they're an adult, their trust fund runs out, and they're told, hey, you want to keep your car, you got to pay for it. Huh? What does that mean? Oh, you want to keep your job, you actually have to do the work. You can't just sit there. Huh? What does that mean? All of a sudden, they actually have to do something. They actually might have to be accountable. They don't have to deal with that. Christ. It's funny. Most of these Democrats that are running scared right now are, probably our age or older, like our parents' age?
Pretty much.
Roughly?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the funny thing is, so we'll say that most of them are in that age bracket. Yet most of their voters are millennials, and they have the exact same mentality. I find that very interesting, because millennials have the exact same thing. I mean, I deal with it at work. I deal with it at college. Oh, you were serious? I actually had to do my schoolwork to get the grade? They love to throw out terms like, I deserve this. Well, they got this, so why don't I? There's never any personal accountability.
No, there really isn't.
I don't get it, you know? I mean, I'm definitely, Christ, I've got a coffee mug that my kids bought me for when I teach at the college, and on the mug it literally says, this contains the tears of my students. I'm not playing that fucking bullshit. I don't play those games. If you're not going to do the work, if you're not going to show up to class, and the irony is, I'm actually considered a lenient professor, because I won't just directly throw your ass out of class. I won't make a big production. I won't, there's some really old school guys that'll do that. I don't do that. You show up late, I acknowledge it, have a seat, this is where we're at, we keep going. I'm not going to coddle you. I'll tell you what you missed. But then when they get their grade back and it's 10, 15 points lower than what they thought they should get, I thought, well, you got docked. You were late. Huh? Told you guys that at the beginning. Well, I didn't. That's not my fucking problem. They find out I'm a hard ass afterwards because they think I'm some young liberal professor, and I'm not. I love my job. Forming the youth. They're either a bunch of crybabies or they're going to be hard asses, and I'll vote for them later.
It's mind-numbingly embarrassing this country has turned into. Why the heck does Twitter keeps telling me, giving me like the hints of who to follow, and all I see is a bunch of squiggly lines from an Arabic writing, and they're telling me I should follow these people. Seriously?
ISIS hacked your account, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh God! Did you see that? Did you see that Twitter post? It's completely off topic, but the one. I know you saw it. Everybody saw it. The whole thing where Chelsea Clinton put up the thing about the fake Greenboro massacre and
something about that I saw.
Don't invent tragedies. Don't invent fake tragedies in news. That's how she put it. There was a reply that somebody put up.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you, and I'm so glad your mother survived the sniper fire in Bosnia.
Yeah, I saw that, and I about pissed myself laughing from it. And that's like some dumb idiot
My coffee came out my nose.
Someone just posted about Jeff Sessions. The racist Keebler elf Jeff Sessions is the U.S. Attorney General. No surprise here. Trump's cabinet equals straight, white, male, privileged. Dr. Ben Carson is white. Betsy DeVos is a male. Miss Cho, I can't remember her. Elena Chow is a male. Nikki Haley is a male. Kelly Conway is a male.
Again,
I mean, I can keep going on.
I know you could, but again, it's their narrative. That's all it is. It's their narrative.
No, they also talk about Jeff Sessions being a racist, and they bring up about, I don't mean to cut you off there. Just let me finish this point.
Go ahead.
They bring up that he's a racist because he pressed charges against 3 guys that were doing some kind of voter registration issue. What they don't tell you is it was the black community that pushed and started that because their votes were being changed by that same group. They weren't doing voter registration. They were doing voter fraud. And that's what Jeff Sessions prosecuted. But the media and the liberals love to twist the facts and leave out parts of the fact to fit their narratives. And I, for one, am then sick and tired of it. Oh.
Well, no, it's I completely agree with you. I mean, they do. They pick and choose from a story what's going to serve their good. Okay, anytime there's an assault, it was an assault rifle. It was the big black scary rifle. I mean, Christ, that guy that ran people over and stabbed students at the University in Ohio. The initial reports were he used an assault weapon.
Oh yeah.
He never had a gun at all. There was not one report out of that campus that he had a gun. Everything was he drove over, he hit people with his car, and then stabbed people. That was it. Yet the media immediately said he had a gun, and then recanted, and we were misinformed. No, you weren't misinformed. You just went with whatever some kid put on Twitter, because every time the school goes into lockdown now, that's where everybody starts yelling and screaming. Whether they've seen it or have any knowledge of it, it doesn't matter.
They get to go on the news for a couple minutes.
And that's all it is. I mean, you want to go with the narrative thing. This is what I get the biggest kick out of. I saw one of those mining, whatever, thingamajiggies, and they were doing a comparison, about like how, as a country, if we don't like something, we change it. And they were talking, how we were living under England's rule. We came to America, but, King of England still said, well, you still belong to us. You still have to pay our taxes. Well, we changed that. We won our independence. We had a bunch of slaves. We had all these slaves, indentured service, all the rest of this. Well, we can change that. Emancipation Proclamation, right? Civil War. Women didn't have the rights that men did. Well, we can change that too. The Civil Rights Movement, African Americans didn't have the rights. Well, we can change that too. Now, the irony is they're saying that Trump is the bad part of this. And as people, that's our heritage. We can change that. And what I find truly ironic is that if you actually are a student of history and you look at each one of those things. Now, yes, back in times of colonialism and back during the American Revolution when we won our independence, there was not a Republican and a Democratic Party. There was actually, I think it was something like 6 different political parties.
Oh, you had
and
the
none
Whig
of them had that
Party,
name.
and it was some really weird.
But if you look at what the values were and you look at where the parties kind of evolved into, the Founding Fathers, their party essentially migrated into the Republican Party. That was kind of like the cornerstones of the Republican Party initially. And there's been a lot of changes since then, obviously. But our Founding Fathers were primarily Republican-natured. Okay, they were conservatives by nature. All right, the guys
Were they naughty by nature too?
Free. Probably shut up, asshole. Going after, freeing the slaves. Again, that was a Republican movement. Women's suffrage, the women getting the right to vote, getting the rights of men, equal rights to men. That was a Republican-backed thing. Civil rights was Republican-pushed. Quite a bit of it. Now, I'm not saying that Democrats weren't also involved. I'm not saying it wasn't a Democrat president that signed the end thing. But I'm just saying, if you look past the headline and you actually look, it's public record. Go look at who voted and where the votes fell along the party line. Actually read the argument, the dissenting argument, especially. Those tend to be the most interesting. And you find out that all the stuff that the liberals lay their claim to fame to, it wasn't them. And then as soon as you challenge them on it and you provide proof, their immediate response, well, we changed parties.
Oh,
really?
yeah.
Conservatives didn't. So wait, how did you guys change parties and the conservatives didn't change parties? Wouldn't that mean the entire country is Republican?
Well, my response to that is very simple. It's very simple. They spent 100 years, pretty much 100 years or over, because it was 1960 or 1868 is when the Republicans got the first civil rights act through, and then it was 1964 they got the second one through. You're telling me after all that fighting, they get it passed, and they decide we're now racist. After all that fight, they decide they're going to become racist. That is the stupidest argument I've ever heard. And the other part I just ask is, okay, they say, well, Democrats came over to the Republican Party. 3 of them did. Well, all right. How many Republicans went to the Democrat Party?
Nice. And see, that's
you know what I get out of that?
Really ironic.
You're a racist.
Yeah, and now that's the other thing, and I find this completely ironic, is they keep wanting to attack Trump. And they, not even just him, all conservatives that were racist or misogynist, were against gays, were against people of color, any color, were against women, were against anybody that's non-Christian. I mean, that's what they're saying. And the irony is, the people driving the biggest wedges have been the Democrats. I mean, Christ, our president for 8 years was one of the biggest pushers of race baiting that I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, I thought like Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, I thought those guys were bad news. They were a lot more flamboyant about it, but Obama was very skilled with doing it. He just did it from the background. I mean, I don't remember him saying that anybody else could have been his kid other than Trayvon Martin.
Yep.
I don't remember him. I don't remember him, stepping up against the public onslaught against officers. I mean, they were in protest. They were actually on blowhorn saying only good cop is a dead cop.
Wait, there's been a police shooting. There's been a police shooting. Oh my God, he did it on purpose. He did it. Black person has been involved. Don't jump to conclusions.
Mm-hmm. As soon as it doesn't fit their narrative, they back away from it. Mm-hmm. When a black cop shot a black guy, no, that's
let's take, and I know you don't do Twitter. I know you don't do Twitters, but it's going to reinforce what you're saying. You had that shooting up in Canada at the mosque. Now, originally, there was reports that a Muslim was arrested for it, and there was a white guy arrested at the same time. You know, and I didn't jump on everything, but I saw people blaming it. Oh, it's white. It's Christian, anti-Muslim. And they jumped on it within seconds, and I was just like, yeah, but they got a Muslim. They're saying it's a Muslim that did this. So it might be the two different factions of Muslim, which have been fighting for thousands of years against each other. And I never seen so many people so happy when they found out that the Muslim was released, he was accidentally picked up, and that it was a white person that did it. They were almost dancing on Twitter that a white person did this crime. And it's like, when Darian Ruff did that shooting, I wasn't happy, or I wasn't upset that it was a white person. I wasn't disgusted. I was going, that sick fucking bastard. He needs to be killed for what he did. Muslim does the shooting. I'm not going, yay, it's a Muslim. I'm going, they need to be put to death. Go ahead.
The asshole that went and shot up that church, to me, he deserves the same fucking sentence that I believe the asshole that shot up the Army Staging Center in Texas deserves, and the assholes in California, and the assholes here, the assholes there, and all the rest of them. It doesn't matter what their religion is. It doesn't matter what their gender, what their nationality. It doesn't even matter what they identify as today. I don't give a shit. You're a piece of crap. And we shouldn't be paying your room and board.
Well, they say it's more expensive to put someone to death than it is to house them. Bullshit. That's state-wise. That's state-wise because they get so much money in appeals. Federal, they don't get appeals paid for.
Yeah, well, now, here's the thing. Okay, so it takes more money to put somebody to death than it does to house and feed them for 50, 60, 70 years. I call complete bullshit because I happen to know that right now the sporting goods store has got a sale. A 50 block of 556 is 50% off. I think it's like $24.95. You only need 7 rounds for a firing squad, so you can get some practice ammo out of it. I'll write the check.
What I hate is, it pisses me off. It really does piss me off when people tell me I don't understand when a crime happens because I'm for the death penalty.
You don't understand.
Oh, do I understand? And it pisses me off. And then their response is, "You're too emotionally attached. You shouldn't have a say in the matter." I'm like,
you're talking about the whole thing
with my father being shot and his boss being murdered right in front of him. I mean, I understand the criminal justice system. The man is still walking around to this day. He's never at least been brought to trial for. No one's even been arrested for it.
Yeah, let's see. Hold on. Let me get this straight. Okay. They want to use the religious ideology, which I really get a kick out of. Because if you actually look at, like, the Crusades, because that's what they like to throw back at us Christians, is the whole Crusade thing. If you actually look at the Crusades and how they started and why they started, lack of a better way of putting it, Muslims started it. I mean, originally the Knights Templar were formed by the Catholic Church to protect people traveling from Muslim bandits. Okay, that's why it was there. So, don't give me this shit about, yes, I know that we were bad, so were they, all the rest of that, fine. Now, you're going to tell me, okay, sticking with the ideology. Well, in Christianity, eye for an eye. Okay, if you take a life, you forfeit your life. Okay, I mean that's a very, very brusque way of looking at some of the teachings, but that is one of them. If you go with an extreme conservative point of view, it's an eye for an eye. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I was homosexual in a Muslim community, I would get thrown off a roof, right? Now, who did I kill? if my wife didn't cover up her face, she could be stoned to death. Who did she kill? What was her crime?
Wait a minute. Did you hear about the Democrat that was running?
Hold on. Here's the thing I'm going to get a kick out of. You get put to death if you're gay. You get put to death if you have shamed your family. Yet if you steal from another person, they chop off your hand. So let me say. So stealing is a lesser crime than upsetting my family or taking it up the ass. Right. Really? This makes sense? Really?
Nope.
Come on.
What I want to interject real quick is the DNC they have a thing where they're looking for their new leader. And this one gentleman said that Representative Keith Ellison should not be allowed to run for the chairman of the DNC. He is Muslims, and Muslims kill gay people. He went on an attack about it. No actual name calling. He pointed out that Muslims kill gay people. The Democrats kicked him out and are not allowing him to run for chairman because he said derogatory things about a Muslim.
It's not derogatory when it's
true. I know.
Now Now, in all fairness, am I going to say that all Muslims subscribe to that? No, because you know what? Hold on. Sorry.
Well,
yep, enjoy.
You also have Christians.
All right, sorry about that.
All right, you back?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem. You got 3 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, okay, I'll make this really quick. I know there's a lot of Muslims in America. I know I come across them. I know you do. Yeah, we may not even know that they are. It depends on how strict they are with their learnings. But even the more strict ones, I don't see them dragging people up to the roofs and throwing people off. Okay, which means that they do have a different ideology of the teachings. At least I hope that's what that means. It's either that or they're waiting for more people to show up so they have backup. With that, I don't know. But I'm sorry. I'm going to go with if this is what you're preaching, and if this is what the majority is condoning and doing, that's what I'm going to go with. And they keep wanting to push the narrative of, 99% of the Muslim community, they don't do this. Well, okay, if that's the case, then none of that 99% resides in any of those European areas. So that must all be 1% of the population, which mathematically doesn't make any sense. Number two, if 99% are against what those people are doing, one, speak out publicly about it. Don't be a chicken shit. Number two, why the fuck are we fighting this war? Go kick their asses. They're your fucking brothers and sisters. If they're doing something you don't like, go kick their asses. I can tell you right now, if my brother pulled some shit like that, I'd be on a plane, I'd go whoop his ass.
I agree.
You know? I mean, it's nothing but smoke and mirrors with these people. And blood pressure's going up. Go ahead.
No, I understand, and it is a complicated conversation. But it's a conversation we actually need to have, and it's...
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Honestly, I think you just put it... You put it beautifully. It's a conversation that needs to be had. It's a discussion that needs to be had. The problem is...
The left doesn't want to have that
conversation. In a conversation or a discussion. They are interested in rhetoric, and they are interested in shutting everything down. The only thing that Donald Trump did was exercise his authority and power as the sitting U.S. president. No different than any of his precursors has done. Every single sitting president has had some type of impact on immigration, whether it was a temporary ban, a full-out ban for a longer period of time, whether it was changing the vetting processes from different areas. Every single president has done that. Obama did it numerous times. And there was never this type of outrage. This outrage is not about what it is. The outrage is about Trump did it, and we're going to oppose it by any and all means necessary. That's what this is. They are literally tipping their hand to the next 4 years. Everything this man does, they are going to attack tooth and nail.
Yep. No
and
matter.
You know what? I hate to break it to them. For at least 2 years, they do not have control of all three branches of government. They changed the rules so that
they're pissed about that
do anything
too.
to them. So guess what? By using the rules that you changed it to, by using the current set of rules, you can't stop any of this. What they could do, if they actually want to have an impact on any of this, is actually shut the fuck up, listen to the people, and have a discussion, have an actual conversation. And they keep saying that the majority of Americans don't want this. This is what the majority of Americans want. This is what the majority of obviously not, because the country is damn near split 50-50 on this. Now, the difference is, in my opinion, when you take these polls, you're doing it in the middle of the day. Well,
real quick, then we got to go to break.
On the other side of the fence,
hey, we got to go to
they're
break.
all at work.
The other thing is the polls that some of them keep quoting are the same ones that said Hillary was going to win the election. Yeah, we have to do the commercial. We didn't do it last week, so you're listening to the Southside Much So, and we will be right back.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplains.dailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
you got a business. You didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid program.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Much Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reverbcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reverb Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date with everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reverb of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Southside Mutt Show, hosted by the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, and we are digging up the dirt on the news. One of the things I want to bring up, I saw a comment somebody made, and it really hit home of Milo, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. A lot of consonants and
hold on. It's Yiannopoulos.
Yiannopoulos?
Damn
okay.
it. I think.
Well, but Milo, everybody knows that he was scheduled to speak at University of California, Berkeley, and it was shut.
Yep.
Yeah, UC Berkeley. It was shut down because of riots. And the left says that's a good thing. Taking away his freedom of speech was a good thing. Last night, we talked about briefly that Elizabeth Warren was shut down for breaking the rules. And the left is screaming about her First Amendment rights and silencing of a woman. So, silencing a gay Jewish conservative who's dating a black guy is a good thing. But silencing a hypocritical, lying female senator is bad.
Well, now, see, here's the other irony: is he hadn't even said any words on the stage yet. Yes, everybody knows his rhetoric. I mean, he's fairly well known in a lot of circles,
and he was invited.
But he hadn't even set foot on stage yet, and they were shutting him down. Elizabeth Warren was allowed to speak. She was allowed to say her piece. She broke the rules. She was warned.
Yeah.
This is against the rules in this session. Okay. She continued to break the rules. I said, okay, you know what? Fine. You're done. You're over. She got the opportunity, and she abused it. So they said, okay, that's it. You're done. You can sit down now. With him, he never even got an opportunity. They all made assumptions about what he was going to say. Now, the true irony is what they did by shutting him down was actually prove his fucking point better than any speech he could ever give.
Exactly. And he said he's going to reschedule and still do it.
It proved the point. Now, here's one of the worst parts about that whole Berkeley thing that it really chaps my ass. It's a couple of things. Number one, the college agreed to allowing him to come in to speak. He was requested to come speak by a conservative, the conservative students organization, whatever. The college agreed to it, but the college stipulated that because of the enhanced risk of protest, the student club, has to pay for all the additional security measures. They said, you're going to have to pay the entire bill. We're not paying for this. We're not paying for the extra security because we know people aren't going to like it. They said, okay. They said, fine, we'll pay for it. Well, then everything goes to hell. They have their own private police force there, not to mention the local PD. Where were they when that young woman was getting hit in the back of her head with a fucking flagpole? Where were the cops? While people are breaking windows and storming your buildings and burning private property. Where were all the police? Oh, that's right. They were told to stand down. I'm sorry, excuse me? You were told to stand? If I was that young woman or her family, I would be suing.
Oh, they said there's lawyers setting up for that. There's lawyers that are setting up.
You know what? They should be. That is fucking
Well, the
bullshit.
FBI is now investigating the mayor of Berkeley about giving that stand-down order. And they need to be. It's absolutely ridiculous. There was another point we wanted to talk about. Now I can't remember what the other one was.
Regarding what?
Remember, there was two things we were going to talk about. We were going to talk about the Milo and, Google.
Yep.
So, Google thinks...
Well, part of the problem is, in all honesty, you start talking about Milo, you can go on about him for days. I mean, that is one happy, dangerous faggot.
and you can't say that because the name of his tour is the Dangerous Faggot Tour. He's not offended being called a fag. I mean, I don't go around saying that, but it's personal preference. And I love it when I get called. I get told I'm anti-gay and all that. I have an uncle, or had an uncle. He passed away not long ago, and he was gay. And I never gave a rat's ass about it.
And if anybody wants to go ape shit on me about it, you know what? Hey, guess what? I have got people in my family that are bisexual. I have people in my family that are lesbian. I have people in my family that are gay. And I've known them my entire lives. I've got family members that have been gay since the day I could fucking law.
You really need to watch how you say that.
Depend on. Yeah,
because you cut out at one point.
Properly. Oh shit! But you know what? The fact of the matter is, you know what the hell? You know what? Anyway, just move on because you know what? Haters are going to hate. So
exactly. It's and I want to go to the Google. I was working actually on an article, and this was before I saw something on Facebook, and I thought maybe it was just me overreacting. And I did a search of fascists because I wanted the actual definition of fascist. And so I went to Google, and let me pull it up. And there, you could tell that it was a very left-leaning person, an advocate. They changed it. It's like an advocate or a follower of a political philosophy or system of fascism. Or did I look fascism? No, it's fascism, an authoritarian or nationalistic right-wing system of government and social organization. In general use, extreme right-wing, authoritarian, or intolerant views or practice. Which that one really, I was like, what the hell? Now,
I love that. I love the part about intolerance. Like, are you kidding me?
Intolerance is also a very subjective term.
Well, yeah, you know what? Here's the true irony. Like, you know, here's the truly ironic thing is even if you go to a staunch conservative, are they going to end up agreeing with you in the end? No, and they're not. If they're stick in the mud. And so, hold on.
Well, while he's doing that, I'm going to switch over to, Merriam-Webster.
Can you what?
It's a political philosophy, movement, or regime as that of the fascists, or whatever, that exalts nation and often race above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictator leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of opposition. And when you go to WikiLeaks, it talks about a one-party state using violence as an acceptable form.
And elevate it. Okay?
Oh.
Put it up.
And it talks about the violence that is acceptable. Well, what's funny...
All right. I'm back.
All right, you're back. What's funny is that's exactly
Yeah.
these people that call themselves anti-fascists are actually practicing fascism. That and I think it was Churchill, maybe not Churchill, that said that the next group of fascists will claim to be anti-fascists. Go ahead.
What was I going on about? I was starting to make a point.
Talking about fascism with the Google term, which unfortunately so many people use it, so now they're going to be improperly informed of the definition. It's more of a political propaganda that Google put up with their term, pushing it towards the right wing, even though it's more of a left wing socialism
ideology.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that's the point I was going to make. Was okay. Essentially, the baseline of fascism is you are intolerant of somebody else's point of view.
Democrats.
If you're intolerant of something, you don't even want to hear it.
Democrats.
You don't want anything to do with it. You don't want to acknowledge it. You don't want nothing to do with it. Now, if you go to a staunch conservative and you go to talk to them about gun rights or the Second Amendment or abortion or any one of the hot topics, are they going to end up agreeing with your point of view in the end? Probably not on some of them. They will maybe on some of them see your point of view, yet choose to not agree with it, or they may take your argument into consideration on their own stance of an item. But if nothing else, you will get the chance to be heard. They will do that. Every conservative I know will. I mean, even some of the ones that I almost can't stand in my family, because even I'm not that conservative on certain things, but they will listen. With a lot of the far left, it's the exact opposite. They don't even want to. They don't care what you've got to say. They yell over you. They make a crap load of noise. They like to blow their air horns, and they like to do. They literally drown you out. So they're not interested in hearing anything. I'm sorry, if that's not intolerance, if that's not suppression, I really don't know what is. They should start looking up the definitions of the words in the definition that they like to quote, because it's completely hypocritical and it's completely ridiculous. You know, and they all, I mean, and not to kind of go off topic a little bit, but honestly, I don't give a lot of credence to anything that they've got to say, because if you've got something to say, stand up and be heard. That's a big part of this country was built on, right? Stand up, be heard, be seen, let your voice be heard. Yet with most of these protests, these people that are yelling and screaming, they hide behind masks. They all dress the same. They go out essentially in a uniform. Gee, that doesn't sound familiar from Europe in the 40s. They essentially go out in a uniform, hide their faces, yell and scream, drown everybody else out, commit acts of violence, and then want to hide behind some ideology saying that provides them all the protection. Yet the Trump supporters, the conservatives, they're out there in their normal day clothes or their work clothes or whatever and just saying, hey, look, this is what I believe. And that's all there is to it. If you want to actually have a discussion with those guys, yeah, they listen to you. The problem is nobody's willing to have a discussion. And I'm finding it extremely hard to find a liberal that actually wants to have a discussion, even in my own household, which is rather irritating. And we've had that discussion on air.
I had a discussion with a guy earlier, late last night, early this morning, and it started out with the insults, and I just basically ignored it.
That's not a discussion.
Well, no, I ignored his insults. I threw it back in his face at one point because he told me to look up the definition of stupid, and I said it's got a picture of you, which then he kind of calmed his jets, and we actually had a conversation. The last thing we said to each other is that he is staunch in his opinion, and he sees I'm steadfast in mine. There's no reason to go back and forth. We both think we're right, and we should just leave it at that. And I agreed with him. There was no information that went back and forth, and that was hey, you know what? That was respectful, and I agreed with him.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't give really that much information to sway each other from our opinions, and too many times people use the word facts nowadays. And I do it too. I've used that term a little bit too much. I just had someone, which is kind of funny because he posted that Trump has an all-white male cabinet. Well, Ben Carson's black. And I rattled off several of the women that are part of his cabinet. Then I got back is one black dude doesn't equal diversity. Well, you said...
Whoa. You know what? Hold on. I'm sorry to interject, but I am so fucking tired of that rhetoric right there. Equal diversity. Based on what? I'm sorry, based on what? So the diversity is supposed to be based on how you look, how you present? How about best fucking person for the goddamn motherfucking job?
I agree. I'm tired of that shit.
Because you know what? I'm fucking fed up with it. I'm so sick and tired of it from the fucking fire department and from all the rest of this bullshit. Because you know what? At the end of the goddamn day, when somebody's running in and out of a burning building or dealing with an active shooter situation or fucking plugging bullet holes in somebody on the side of the street or cutting somebody out of a fucking car, they're all wearing the same goddamn uniform. They're all wearing the same fucking helmets. Half the time they got fucking masks on. You couldn't tell what the hell they were to begin with. It could be a fucking giraffe for all you goddamn know. I'm so sick and tired of that.
So,
Sorry,
I agree. I do want to throw in another subject. I don't mean to change up subject on you so fast, but we don't have much time left.
No, that's fine.
Last night it was CNN. Oh, this might get your blood pressure up. It was CNN did a town hall between Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz. And this woman stands up, and they were talking about Obamacare. And she says she owns several hair salons in Texas. She wants to expand her business, but she's at 49 employees. Her profit margin is very small. And that if she goes any larger, she can open 2 or 3 more stores financially, but it would put her over that 50 mark, and she can't afford the insurance. And Bernie Sanders comes out and says, I think for a business that employs 50 people or more, given the nature of our dysfunctional healthcare system right now, where most people do get their health insurance through the places that they work for, I'm sorry, I think that in America today, everybody should have health care. And if you have more than 50 people, you know what? I'm afraid to tell you, I think you have to provide health insurance. So he just cost.
You realize that he literally just cost probably about a dozen people a job.
And that's what I was getting ready to say right there. Ted Cruz said he had a farmer. No, it's fine. A farmer came up, and, he owns a milk farm. And he said he's to the point where he can expand and add another 50 employees. But he won't be able to afford the insurance, so he's just underneath that at 49. He's living comfortably, but Obamacare's costing jobs. But the thing is that Bernie Sanders came out and basically told the woman, that's your problem. You deal with it. I don't care what your problems are. We need to give health care to people for whatever reason, no matter what the cost is. And
Hold on. Yo, what's up, baby?
He went on to even go, he was blaming Bush for the high cost, health care costs. Well, underneath Bush.
I don't have any of my specs in there.
Underneath Bush, the costs were up higher than Obamacare. It was a mistake for what he said.
Right behind the door, when you open it up.
When a Republican makes a statement, it's dead on, can't be changed. There's no mistakes. He outright lied if it turns out to be a mistake. But if a Democrat says something like, you can keep your health care, it's going to save you $2,500 a year, and it ends up costing people more than that. Stories were told again and again and again last night on CNN how people couldn't afford the health care that they had. And what's worse is even though they had health care, they couldn't go to the goddamn doctors because they couldn't afford the deductibles. And Bernie Sanders' response was, that's why we need to go to a Medicare system for everybody.
You know what? Here's the thing. I deal with that in my job right now. I mean, one, yes, we pay attention to the number of employees that we have. Because, yeah, that cap is that's a big deal. Okay. Number two is we provide, I mean, in all reality, my company provides what would be considered like a gold to platinum plan. I mean, it's a major, you get medical, you get the dental, you get the vision. They try to keep the premiums low, where you're not putting a whole lot out of pocket. The company covers, I want to say it's over 50% of all of your medical, my company is covering. Yet, we still deal with people because of the situations, they can't afford it. Yeah, they can go to the doctor. They can get the checkup, but then they need to go to that specialist. They need to have this procedure done. They need to have this thing done.
Well, the one that gave an example was a nurse. Hang on, she was a nurse. She came up with an abnormal pap smear. She's like, I can't afford the specialist because of the deductible. She goes, so I got an abnormal pap smear, and I'm sitting wondering if I have cancer because I can't afford. And she's a goddamn nurse.
Yeah. And the screw thing is, like, I worked for a company bigger than the one I work for now years ago when Obamacare first came in. And my annual deductible was, I think it was over $10,000. I had to pay over $10,000 before my insurance would fully kick in. My current company, significantly smaller, they've negotiated it to where it's about $5,000 that I have to pay before the insurance would fully kick in. Gee, look at that. Company's looking out for the little guy. Now, the problem is, even with that being said, if you've got a family that you're trying to feed and you're living paycheck to paycheck, where the hell do you come up with an extra $5,000, even an extra $5,000 throughout the year? I've constantly got people coming and complaining, and we've got and they all acknowledge this is one of the better healthcare plans of any of the companies in the area. The company really does try, but their hands are still tied by the fucking system. Now, do I believe that everybody deserves health care? Yes, I do. Do I believe that everybody deserves a fair shake? Yes, I do. I'm not saying that that's not deserved.
But not at breaking everybody else.
The thing is, we need to look at where my personal opinion is we need to look at where the hell the costs are. Because every single time I've had to deal with anything having to do with insurance or the doctor's bill, I'm talking to 10 different fucking companies over one goddamn
30 seconds.
Item. Why? Well, honestly, I think that's where most of the cost is right there. Most of it is in a fucking flawed system.
Well, not just that. They went over the paperwork. The amount of paperwork that is that has to be done now because of Obamacare is in the billions of dollars. Within man hours and all that, the cost is within the paperwork. Listen, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's actually the end of the show. We're starting to run a little close. So, up next is
cut it off. Finish it up next week.
Yep. Up next is Ken the Conservative, the Exceptional Conservative, and at 11 o'clock we have Sackheads Radio Show, and I will be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the Reaver of Common Sense. I want to thank everybody and have a great day.
Have a great evening.
You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.